Was Haley down this weekend? She was. No. Okay, awesome. Well, it looks like we're rolling here, Shane. So let's jump right in, man. I'm Chris, as always.
And I'm Shane.
Shane is back, so welcome to our July edition of Facebook Live. Back in black, I love it. Good to have my buddy Shane back with me. We were talking about a subject near and dear to his heart as an ultramarathoner.
It is.
Hydration, but I think when it's this brutally hot in the summer in Florida like it is right now, these hydration summer hacks are going to be so important for all of us.
Yeah.
Look, as always, go ahead and like this, tag anyone on Facebook who should watch it later, and we will get to any questions and comments you have. Type them as you're watching, but we want to just jump right in with some of our favorite hydration products. We're going to talk about when and how to use them, and also how to carry them on your run. So Absolutely. We're going to start it right off with, go ahead.
I was going to say, even regardless of kind of what you're training for this summer, these hydration tips are very important, whether it's 5K, 10K, marathon.
In fact, Shane, before we move to the wonderful pickle juice, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, because it's a pretty big deal. What are you training for?
Training for an ultramarathon, 50K, 31 miles in October. So that's the next race I have on the docket, which means I'm going to be training throughout the entire summer.
And not only throughout the entire summer, I'm running 15, 20 miles a week right now. My runs are rarely more than 40 minutes. I'm still feeling like I need some electrolytes afterwards. Sure. But Shane's out there for sometimes 4 hours plus. So the replacement that's necessary then is almost at the next level. And we're going to try to kind of touch on it at all those tiers. But
Absolutely.
The main thing we're going to be talking about is that, of course, you need water. And you want to be drinking that all throughout the day.
Can't get rid of it. You have to have water.
Hydration never starts just right before the run, right, Shane?
No.
It starts days out.
Absolutely. Definitely the night before at the very minimum. You definitely want to make sure that throughout that day beforehand that you're getting all those electrolytes and just water that you need, because when you're out there when it's 90 degrees outside and you're sweating your butt off and you've been out there for 45 minutes and you're going on an hour, you're going to be glad you did.
Most definitely. You want to, as Jake Brooks, who's our nutrition buyer, would say, got to hydrate or dehydrate.
It's true.
Maybe you'll see that next to his smiling face if you're ever in the store and our employee photos there. And he also always mentions that if you're starting to get thirsty during a run, it's what, Shane?
It's too late.
It's too late already. It's about that preemptive hydration, but we're not just losing water. We're also losing electrolytes. We want to replace them. We're going to focus really mainly on sodium, potassium, magnesium, and electrolyte replacement supplements, at least what we carry here. Those are the main ingredients you find. Pickle juice, not as much in the magnesium, but lots of salt, hence sodium, lots of potassium, and no sugar coat in here, right, Shane?
I mean, it's pickle brine. I mean, it's got a little bit of extra added electrolytes and things like that. But at the end of the day, you're drinking pickle juice, and it's exactly what it says it is. So if you're a fan of those pickles, I mean, you can't really beat it. It tastes the same.
Yeah,
so.
And a zero-calorie product, great for cramping. Maybe take a little bottle with you for during the run if you're starting to feel cramped. If you feel, do a really hard effort, your muscles are sore right after. Take something right after you're done. But say you don't love the taste of pickle juice.
It's true.
Like me, you still want to replace your sodium, your potassium, magnesium. Shane, I know you use the salt sticks in some of your runs, right?
Yes, this is actually a product that I use pretty much on a daily basis at this point. When I'm running, it's something that it's really simple. Yeah. It's a chewable salt tablet. You put it in your mouth, it kind of dissolves almost, honestly, if you don't even want to chew. But one of the things that you have to really take into account with something like this is you want to be drinking water with it.
Sure.
Maybe not guzzling down a whole bottle or anything like that, but you definitely want to make sure that you're drinking something in addition to it, because it is salt. It will dehydrate you if you don't have any water to accompany it.
For sure. But if you only want those couple sips and not like a full bottle to get that full electrolyte replacement, like some of ours, where you need to put, that much more into the bottle, salt stick is a good supplement, especially for during those runs. So just pop one, nice and simple. Now, it's important to note, you might run into salt stick plus caffeine. That's not a bad thing. You want a little extra, caffeine push in your run. You can handle caffeine well. You want the energy. But if you're popping a bunch of them because you think your sodium's really low and you forget there's caffeine, you might get a little jittery. So make sure we're always reading packaging, and that's going to tie actually right into this next product we're talking about, which is Noon. So you'll see right away the two main Noons that we're going to focus on because we're talking hydration during the summer. We're talking electrolytes primarily. We got Noon Sport, one of their electrolytes products that is actually really, Shane, this is before, kind of during or after, right?
Honestly.
Primarily before and during product. This is a great before product for those 2 days out we were talking about. This is something to just throw one in your water bottle at work every day, sip on. You're going from 2 sugar-free products and salt stick and pickle juice to one here with 1 gram of sugar and your basic effervescent Noon, not a ton. You stay at the 1 gram of sugar over here, but you do add, you can see again the plus caffeine. If it's caffeinated, it's always labeled. So there's always options with and without. Make sure you're looking at that. You're getting, I think it's 25 milligrams.
Those are 40.
This one's 40, excuse me. It's 25 in the Endurance down here, which we'll touch on in a moment. 40 is just less than half a cup of coffee, Shane?
Yeah, right around there. And I'm a big fan of having the caffeine before a run, especially if you're waking up early in the morning. I know some people maybe can't handle caffeine right on their stomachs right during the morning.
Right.
But it does kind of just wake you up just enough to get that first half mile, make it a little bit easier, because that's definitely the toughest part of most runs.
For sure. For sure.
But if you are going a little bit longer, they do have the Endurance Noon as well, which is going to be a little bit more sugar.
Right, you're getting away from your, if you're a lower carb, lower calorie person, this Noon is great. But if it's something where you're an hour plus out there, if you're running like Shane is, Noon Endurance has, I think, about 19 grams of sugar, but that's those simple carbohydrates that you're going to be able to burn during the run. And again, a with and without caffeine option. So like Shane said, he does great with the caffeine. I am like a caffeine fiend. I love my coffee. But I used to try to take the Noon Sport with caffeine before hard runs, and it would twist my stomach up because I never eat before I run, and I have a more sensitive stomach. So I found I need to run. I need to eat at least a banana or something, and then have my caffeine.
Absolutely.
Which I think it's good that we have, like with this Noon Endurance, a small sample package. And if you like it, you get the tub. And you'll find that with the next few products we talk about too. Get the small packs first, test them out. That's one of our hacks for the day. See how your stomach adjusts to it, and then get the bigger one once you find what works for you. So again, for just the electrolyte, you got your Noon Sport. If you need the carbs to burn throughout your run, you want a good before product, you got the Endurance, both with and without caffeine. Yeah. And then going into kind of the before and during, we've got Accelerate that Shane will talk about a little bit here, and their sister product, Endurox, which is more of an after.
So the Accelerate is unique in the sense that it has a 4-to-1 carb to protein ratio. A little bit of protein for the muscles, but you're really hitting those carbs, which is what your body's going to be burning while you're doing those longer efforts, just to hydrate beforehand and even, again, during. A lot of these are a little bit more versatile than some products because you can use them both before, during, and in the case of the Endurox, you get a little bit after.
You get the after.
The big difference between these two is that this one is going to have the 4-to-1 protein ratio, so it's kind of just flipped.
Yep.
So you're going to get that extra protein for the muscles, a little bit of carbs to replace some of the stuff that you lost. Yep. But again, these two, actually, they work really well together.
They're great complements. 5 grams of protein here, that little bit you might burn during the run, but you don't overdo it. 13 here, so really focusing on the recovery. And a good bit of sugar in both for the Accelerate to burn during it and the Endurox to replace what you've lost afterwards.
So moving right along to something that's a little similar, but just from a different company.
But also sugar-free. So if sugar is something that's just not an option you can use, Generation UCAN is a great supplement there.
Yeah. They have what they call their super starch in their product, which is essentially just something that's going to burn a little bit slower for those longer efforts. Would you say about an hour, hour and a half?
They say, and it's right there, 1 to 2 scoops. One scoop gives you 1 to 2 hours. I've usually found that to be accurate, about an hour to 90 minutes on one scoop. Last half marathon I was training for, I was using a lot of this on the 10-plus mile runs I was doing. But if you're Shane and you're out there for 4 or 5 hours, maybe 2 scoops before, that might get you to 3 hours, but you might mix a half to another full scoop in a bottle that you take with you on the run. So if you start to feel a crash, you can get ahead of it. Because remember, when you start to feel these things, it's usually already too late. We want to be ahead of the curve, but just like with the Noon, try the sample pack first.
Sure.
And if you like it, go ahead and get into the tub, and then you're loaded for the month or so. UCAN also has an after product with more of a protein focus. Same deal, sample packs in the big tubs. And then staying sugar-free, this is their electrolyte only. This is I want to say 0 calorie. Yeah, a no sugar, 0 calorie product, but it does get you those magic words again. Some sodium, magnesium, potassium for that electrolyte replacement, which brings us to the last product. Yeah, and our newest product that we just started carrying.
So Scratch, again, like you said, our newest product in the hydration line that we brought into the store. This one is tuned specifically for the amount of electrolytes that you lose in sweat during workouts and things like that. So you're going to get all that replacement. It's scientifically tuned to just pretty much cover what you lose. Again, gluten-free, vegan, kosher, all those fun things.
Yeah, this is going to cover a lot of your dietary restrictions, and Noon hits on most of those as well.
And it's just, again, something that's really light on the stomach, something that's not going to weigh you down too much. Again, if you can't handle a lot of water in your stomach right before a run, you should be drinking this hours leading up to it.
If not the day before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And again, same thing as some of the other products. We have the single try packages, but if you don't want to be in here every other day buying things over and over again, we do
20 serving option here. I do want to say quick before we get into this, and I'll let you talk about this one, Shane, because you picked it up. But an ultra marathoner like Shane, and I know a lot of ultra marathoners that like Scratch a lot as a product, and they'll be using it frequently throughout their run. For someone like me, I'm not doing mini runs that are much longer than maybe 40 minutes right now, and I'm not feeling like I need much fuel during the run. But when it's this hot, if I only drink water, about 2 hours later, I feel that headache kicking in. So what I've started doing is one of these Scratch packets right after any run of, say, 30 minutes or more, where I'm really sweating a ton, and it's making a huge difference for me. So here, you get 20 servings.
You do. And not only that, you also get their energy bars as well. You get 4 of them for free in addition to the 20 serving pouch. Now, these are great for maybe a light snack before your run. You don't want to weigh yourself down too much again.
Yeah, early lunch, but you're not running until like 7 p.m.
And even if you want a little bit of a pick-me-up right after.
Those blood sugar levels back up a
like
little
he
bit.
was saying, right after a run, I think we have a question about how soon after you should hydrate. Really, I mean, honestly, as soon as you can. Definitely as fast as possible. You want to, your body is just going to be losing and depleting all of those electrolytes to kind of repair what was damaged during the workout. The sooner you can get on it, the better.
I mean, most of the summer, I was just drinking water after my runs. And then I started to realize 2-3 hours later is really when I was starting to just feel sluggish and occasionally really was getting a headache. And so within that first hour, but realistically 10-15 minutes, that first bottle or cup of water after the run, I'm trying to pour the Scratch into it. And I will say on the note of the snack, one of the sample flavors that comes is pistachio and cherry, which we just got in on the individual bars. I know we're not doing bars today, but I had it for a snack today and it's awesome. So I'd recommend that to anyone. Also, I do think that question, I'm not going to lie, Shane, I think it's at how long before do you hydrate? But I'm glad that you went to after, because that's a great answer too. Those are both helpful hacks. I like to think we touched on before at the beginning, but again, for a lot of these products, if we're talking just about, okay, how long before should I have this packet of Scratch? Should I have a thing that you can? Give yourself 45 minutes to an hour so that liquid's not just like recently, gulp down and splash around your stomach when you start to run. But for days leading up to it, you want to make sure you're always hydrating around the clock.
So you have a long run on the weekend, you want to be definitely the day before loading your body up with as much as you can. Now, one exception to all of this, I do believe the salt stick. I usually pop those 5-10 minutes before I run because they are so light on the stomach.
For sure.
You take a sip of water to wash them down. That's something that you can put in your mouth pretty much right as you're walking out to run.
And I've done it in the middle of a half marathon.
Absolutely.
Just throwing one in. Yeah, you can already be actively running. And some of the ones that you drink also, obviously, you can take little sips during. You don't want to just be chugging it down.
But speaking of sipping during, you have these products. You don't really have anything to put them in.
You need a way to carry them.
Now, it's all great and all that you have water, but again, you're going to be losing these electrolytes during the course of these workouts. So it's nice to have something that you can carry, maybe a noon in, or some Scratch, or even the You Can Hydrate option that just kind of dissolve it in the water. You carry in one of these guys.
Absolutely. And I want to give Shane the bottles here their full attention, because I think there's a couple important facts we want to hit on them. So we'll do one last note on product itself, because it looks like we got another question. And this one is about Tailwind, and it's a question we've gotten from a number of customers. I'm going to be honest, I haven't personally tried it. Have you?
I have not either.
Okay. So we will never lie to you guys.
I do know people that use it.
And I've heard generally positive reviews. I haven't heard a lot of negative. I have heard a decent amount of questions. My answer is maybe. We referenced Jake when we were first talking about how you need a hydration days before. You need to start your hydration days before. He's our hydrate or dehydrate nutrition buyer. I know it's on his radar. As you've seen on the shelf, it's pretty tight packed. Space is limited. If a product cycles its way out and Tailwind looks like next up on our list for something to try, it's definitely something we're considering. I can't give you a much more definitive answer than that right now.
All right.
But Orange Cycle does carry it. Our good friends down in College Park.
It's true. I do think it is more. Well. I've seen more people using it more for cycling than for running. Now, that's not to say that you can't use it for running, because obviously those are very endurance heavy sports. But maybe in the future.
For sure. And so we are going to jump into these handhelds. We do. The one last thing on nutrition, we've got a blog on it. Okay, so if you go to the Track Check website and our blog space, there is a nutrition blog. It covers all the products you see here. So not just the hydration, but the hydration is included. So kind of what you want to take before, during, after, just a general breakdown of these supplements. Scratch may not have made its way on there yet because it's newer. But to your point, Shane, the reason we walked to this wall, some of our most important products, because you need to take this stuff with you, especially if you're an ultra marathoner like you. That bottle an hour before is not necessarily enough. So how do we take our hydration on the run?
Again, a lot of this is determined based off of exactly what you're doing, how long you're doing it, whether you're going on a 2-hour walk, whether you're going on a long bike ride or a run. You know, a lot of these things are very important. The first one I would start off with, if you're going for maybe an hour, hour and a half or so, you know your route really well, maybe there's a place that you can stop off to refill if you need to, are these handhelds. Now, they come in a couple of different sizes. The thing I like about these most, I'm somebody that hates carrying things when I run.
I can't stand it.
What I really like about these is that they have a little bit of a thumb hole that you can put in there. It makes it to where you don't actually have to grip the bottle while you're carrying it, which can really reduce the amount of muscle strain in your forearm, even up into your shoulder and things like that.
Oh, yeah. Or just overly gripping. I've got a lovely scar there from my carpal tunnel surgery. So if I can have an open palm hold and not be squeezing something, that's going to be a lot better.
So it's really nice. They also have a little bit of a pouch. Say you want some salt sticks or something like that to put in there during a run. You can put them in a little baggie.
Yeah, and that's another fun little hack too. Like, you see this package and you go, how am I going to carry that when I run? Open it up, throw them into Ziploc bags, throw what you don't use in a bigger bag to save, and take a small baggie, throw it in there, or even in your short pocket if you end up not carrying that handheld or have something else in that pouch.
Absolutely. And in addition to all of that, I do like the safety feature on these. I think
is very nice.
Reflectivity, 360 degrees. It's nice to have just a little bit of extra.
For sure. And then you've got your extra draw here, slightly different product from the same company, but much lighter weight. You'll notice it's not quite the same thumb holster, but that's because this is just so light and malleable that just by sitting on my hand, it's not going to go anywhere as it is. But, you know, if you're on an extra long run, Shane, like for the type of races you train for, and like you said, maybe if you're out for like 90 minutes and you have a place to refill this bottle, that size is good. But if you think you might be going for 2-3 hours plus and don't have a chance to refill, what are some of these bigger pouch options that we have?
So a lot of these packs, I typically say for most people, it determines on what you're going to be doing inside of it. If you're going on 3-4 hour hikes, stuff like that, you're going to want something with a little bit more storage space. Some of these have a little bit more dry storage than others. But really one thing I want to focus on since we're talking about hydration is the bladders that are inside of them. Now, the bladders are essentially just something that holds water inside the pack. If you can kind of see it there, it's just something that you would fill up beforehand, and that's going to last you a lot longer than something that's coming from the handhelds or anything like that. But really what I tell people most about these packs is they have to be comfortable. If you're running a lot longer and you got a pack that's not comfortable, you're going to get chafed. You're going to get all those fun things. Now, some of these packs are a little bit lighter weight than others. So
like these guys.
Yeah. So these are going to have something a little bit different. They come with 2 bottles in the front as opposed to the bladder in the back. You can't actually put a bladder in this one. It's meant for races and specific things like that when you're going to be doing those harder efforts. But you want something that's super breathable, really malleable, something that's going to kind of form to your body. Something like that. Again, come in if you're kind of unsure on which one of these applies to you. We'll have a conversation. You know, we'll talk about it. We'll see which ones may be just right out because you're not going to be doing something that's relevant to those. So it's definitely something that you just kind of want to brainstorm beforehand. Hey, it's hot. If I'm only doing a 45-minute run, is the handheld going to be okay? Do I want a hydration belt or do I want the pack itself?
And if you're running 15, 20 miles a week or maybe less than that, there's folks at my level that I can let you know what I'm doing for those runs where I'm never out there for, really at the very most an hour. But if you are more geared towards that ultra, we've got people like Shane on staff that can go over that with you. But here's our biggest ask on this stuff. Once you get your reusable product, or if you already have one at your house, Track Check Running Series is kicking back up, so obviously you want to sign up for Fanatic. That's a given. If you can't make all 6 races, do them one at a time. But look, up until our winter races, it's still really toasty. Celebration of running is going to be hotter than Watermelon Run. If you did Watermelon,
which is hard to believe.
It is. Every time you run Watermelon, you don't think it can be hotter, but Celebration's usually the hottest of the year. But if you've noticed anything else at our races, it's our conscious effort to go more and more green. This is our first Watermelon Run with no single-use plastic. We're moving towards that at all of our events, but there are still cups out there. So if you guys have these bottles, bring them with you. And you know, kind of help us continue that recycling and that green initiative. The more you that bring these out there, the less waste we'll produce at races, and we're all about that.
You don't have the time grabbing that.
That cup handoff where unless you did the 4x1 in high school, you're spilling something somewhere, right? Which Shane and I did not.
I did not run the 4x1.
Well, come on now. Anyway, no. But seriously, you know, we want you to help us with that green initiative, but we do also really hope to see you out there at the races. We want to see you tuning in every single month.
Sure.
Check back. We've got stuff coming up next week. As always, I've got Good Form Running that I'll be teaching a week from today, next Monday the 22nd. We've got our community yoga Tuesday the 23rd. Also my man here's birthday.
Absolutely, it is. It is indeed.
But there's more events that we're always posting new ones. We've got our foam rolling clinic coming up. I don't know the date top of my head, I'm not going to lie, but that's all the more reason for you to run to trackshack.com. Check out everything coming up. Check out when we're going to be back next month in August for that Facebook Live, and we'll post the topic on that as soon as we can. But I don't think we can leave you with any more important words than hydrate or dihydrate.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to add anything, it would be, again, like we were saying, all this stuff is things that you experiment with. You try out. You know, you don't just stick to one thing. There might be something better out there.
For sure.
But you don't want to try any of this on race day, please.
Yes.
Please avoid that horror story.
Yeah, it's a gradual process. Hydration in and of itself is always a long game. You're thinking about it days out, weeks out, and that starts with sampling and figuring out what's right with you, and that goes to making sure that every minute of every day you're making sure that you're getting the proper amount of fluids and electrolyte balance in you. So it's a hot one out there, folks. Hydrate or dihydrate. We'll see you next month.
See ya.